So, what the hell is a Pokemon anyways? Well, honestly, it really does not matter, because this genius concept sparked the world's highest grossing media franchise and represents our childhood wonder, creativity, and the ability to escape the real world. Let's journey into a land of strange, powerful creatures who can all be tamed if we have the skills to become a true Pokemon master. So help me nerd out, relive my childhood's greatest memories by joining me on a lighthearted trip back to the good old days. I decided to do this video because I recently had this amazing run-in with my childhood when I stumbled upon my old Game Boy Color in an old box, tucked away at my parents' house. I could not believe it. The game that was inside was the original Pokemon Blue version. And yes, I know today it spans every color in the rainbow and beyond. But we all know the original versions of anything are always the best. So I turned it on and was shocked to see it still worked perfectly. I took a trip back to 6th grade, thinking I was the shit because my team would kick Ash Ketchum's ass up and down the street. It was unreal to be able to battle friends, and the battle screen was genius in how it was constructed. I mean, that setup blew my mind back then, and was so creative being able to do all you could do on that tiny screen. Besides having the greatest theme music on Earth, I mean the first season of the show mainly, it is no doubt how it blew up the way it did over the decades. It is amazing run-ins with nostalgia like this that make life worth living, especially in the drab, bland, gray times we are living in now, where everything is saturated, AI runs amok, and the world just does not seem as wondrous anymore. But with flashbacks like this, we can bring it back, if just for a second. So, if you are not a fan of Pokemon, I suggest you keep it moving, because we are about to journey back to the time of middle school lunch period, where you and your boys would pull out your Game Boys, use that funky purple cord to connect them, and put a beating on your buds. In this video, we are going to go deep into this amazing franchise that brought joy to so many children and adults alike. We are going to ask some simple questions. Questions we probably all wondered, and I provide my own answers as always, based on my own experiences. Obviously, these are fictional works, so I am aware these questions are just out there. But for a moment, let's suspend belief, reality, and just exist in Celadon City for a while. I will never tell you to like or subscribe, because you know your own minds. But in this video, I'm going to share my unbeatable team I used to roll with, to decimate all my friends one by one. So I implore you to leave your own unbeatable teams in the comments section. Who did you rock with? How good were you? Let this video serve you as a way to bring all our childhoods back to life, back when life was in bright Technicolor instead of a dark, saturated monotone. First, a little history as always. The Pokemon franchise began in 1996 when Japanese game designer Satoshi Tajiri and developer Ken Sugimori released the first games, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green, for the Game Boy in Japan. Inspired by Tajiri's childhood hobby of collecting insects, the games focused on exploring a world filled with creatures called Pokemon that players could catch, train, and battle. Developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, the series quickly grew into a global phenomenon. Its success led to the creation of the Pokemon show in 1997, the trading card game, movies, toys, and many new video game generations. Over the decades, Pokemon has evolved with new regions, hundreds of new creatures, and modern titles like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, while also expanding into mobile gaming with Pokemon Go. Today, Pokemon remains one of the most successful entertainment franchises in the world, beloved by millions of fans for its themes of adventure, friendship, and discovery. It is a fairly simple concept, but think about the amount of creativity needed to come up with this concept. Simply brilliant. Are they animals? Are they some digital creation running wild in the real world? It boggles the mind, and the reason I bring up the digital concept is because of the Pokeball. They literally become data as they get stored inside their own digital environments, conducive to their needs. Also, when you want to heal your Pokemon, You take them to the ubiquitous Nurse Joy and a Pokemon Center. Place the balls in a high-tech machine, and the Pokemon are restored to perfect health. So I mean, with all this in mind, it is not too far a stretch to think about them being a digital construct. And no, Digimon do not count. I always wondered about the real-world implications, because you would watch the show and see normal animals running around in the world, right? So for example, if there was a normal pigeon, then there was a Pidgey. What the hell? You could not just go, catch a pigeon, and make it use Gust Attack on your enemies. Believe me, I tried. As we probably all did after beating the game, and just not wanting that world to come to an end. We can see that most Pokemon represent a group of already existing animals, such as insect types like Butterfree, to water types like Seal and Squirtle, actually being seals and turtles. Well, if we take a more scientific perspective, we can say that maybe these are evolutionary offshoots from the original. Just like humans are an incredibly intelligent offshoot primate, maybe Pokemon have their real-world counterparts as well, simply evolved into a more intelligent form, but with missing links abound. Darwin would have a field day with this. But then you have the Pokemon who throw that theory upside down. You have the inanimate object, Pokemon like Magnemite, so where did they spawn from? An evolved form of a magnet that had an electric mishap? Who knows and who cares, because thinking about it is joy in itself. We also have Pokemon like Mankey and Primeape, which makes me think, are they related to humans? Are they our missing link? And what the hell is up with all the other human hominid-esque Pokemon like Matchup? And of course the creepiest Mr. Mime and Jinx. Sorry, I am just geeking out, and I hope you are as well, because this is just damn fun. Which is why I thought it was time to take a break from the serious characters and real-world nonsense, and just escape back to childhood for a minute. Okay, so what is with the Pokemon speak? How is it that Pokemon speak Japanese? Or English, in our case? Ever think about this? They say their own names in our language. In our world, some indigenous tribes of Africa, like the Sambushmen and Hadza, use a click dialect, where shortened and lengthened versions of a sound represent different words and emotions. How would Pokemon know what we call them? Who named them? Did they name themselves, and we are just repeating their names that they say? Because most Pokemon have a human language root, is my point, like Golden and Starmie. They not only speak it, but they also understand our languages. When Ash talks to his Pokemon like Charizard, he nods his head and understands exactly what Ash is saying. Is he reading his emotions to understand his words? I mean, Pikachu literally understands everything Ash says and responds accordingly, emotionally and physically. I always wondered this. Do Pokemon know the names of their own attacks as well? Because when Ash says use Thunderbolt or use Quick Attack, Pikachu knows how to distinguish between the two. So that would mean either he would understand the language or was born innately knowing the names of his attacks and defenses. It is very fascinating to think about. And yes, I know we are reaching here and going too deep, but that's the fun, isn't it? So, looking into the darker side a bit, because we all know human beings are loathsome creatures, we can be the worst. So it only stands to reason that if Pokemon actually existed in our world, we would take advantage of them and ruin them for profit, because we simply cannot help ourselves. I know it sounds strange, but would we eat certain Pokemon as a delicacy? You are damn right we would. I could see it now at some high-class, snooty waiter, 3-star Michelin restaurant. They are serving cloisters on the half-shell, golden sashimi, or Peking Psyduck, right? If poaching goes on in our world, you can bet your ass Pokemon poaching would be big business. I mean, that's what the bumbling Team Rocket does. I can liken this to a very real-world example. One of my favorite animals on this planet is the pangolin. This creature is so amazing, walking on 2 legs and just traipsing around looking for insects with a tongue that is as long as its body. This is Sandshrew. If the pangolin was not the real-world inspiration for Sandshrew, I don't know what would be, and you better believe. Just like the pangolin is critically endangered, poached, and its scales consumed for medicinal and other properties, Sandshrew would be experiencing the same, along with most other Pokemon. Bottom line, humans suck. Sorry, not sorry. Staying on this, people would use powerful Pokemon like Gyarados to commit acts of terrorism. Use psychic Pokemon like Hypno to interrogate or make others do their bidding, and simply use these loyal creatures to rule the world. I hate to say it, but Pokemon are companions and friends to some, but slaves and workhorses to others, and we know this is just human nature. The light side of us is the greatest example of brilliance in a species. But the dark side of us is probably why, if there are beings from other worlds watching us, they will not let us into their federation until we decide to grow up before they show up. Now, let's move on to the fun part, our teams. I believed my team to be the best because I would mop the floor with anyone in my path, but I could have been full of shit. Who knows? I, of course, will not be including Mewtwo in my true team, because any real Pokemon master knows that battling with Mewtwo is a cop-out because some are just stronger than others depending on what game you lucked out with. The stats could be a bit better. So you could just cheese your opponent with Psychic Attack, and it would be a done deal, unfair, and no skills involved. That is why we always battled with a no Mewtwo rule. And also, for those in the know, number Cinnabar Island trick Pokemon like getting a level 200 Venusaur. My team consisted of Venusaur, as he was my chosen original rider, Machamp, Gengar, Zapdos, Gyarados, and of course Mewtwo would be the 6th slot last resort. All level 100 obviously. These battles would get heated, man, and more often than not, someone would always get in their feelings and snatch the battle cord out. And on the worst of occasions, throw their Game Boy, being so pissed off, no lie. I can even remember the sounds each of my most dreaded Pokemon opponents would make, like when my brother would bring out his Charizard, or when I would hear the high-pitched shriek of his stupid Articuno. Hated that bird. I had a system where my Venusaur would use Sleep Powder, a very powerful attack rendering an opponent asleep for a good amount of the battle. Machamp was usually a closer, because he was so good to equip with powerful extras like Rock Slide. He could always close properly. Gengar was a Pokemon I stumbled upon because I was trying to find an answer to some of my opponent's Pokemon. So I evolved Ghastly to Haunter, then to Gengar. I would use Hypnosis, followed by Dream Eater and Psychic, and it was a wrap. Zapdos would level with Thunder Attack, but sometimes it would fail. But when it worked, it was always a critical hit. Lastly, Gyarados was just a beast. I could always count on him. Hard to believe it evolved from a useless Magikarp, but when I saw that evolution happen out of nowhere by accident, I knew this Pokemon was destined for my team, out of sheer awesomeness. So now that we have fully geeked out, and I have sufficiently embarrassed myself enough, I want to thank you for watching this video. I really wanted to throw something fun like this out there, and after having an unexpected trip down memory lane the other day, I knew this was perfect. As you know, I don't just make AI slop thrown together so I can get monetized faster using automated nonsense to saturate. No, this is a conversation with my opinions and sentiments, so I can use our favorite characters as a cathartic, sort of life journal, to get my own thoughts out there. Please feel butterfree to join the conversation. Sorry, leave your greatest teams in the comments, because we might as well share the joy of times past, as we all know for some reason things like this just do not happen much anymore. There is a reason that massive things like this came out of the 90s, because it was the height of original thought and creativity. People were not afraid to take risks and be themselves, no matter what. Being an artist of any type in 2026 is not for the faint of heart. But all the true creators out there, no matter what lane you are in, no matter how bad it is out there, and how long it could take for you to go from invisible to being in the light, we will be creating until we are falling off the chair, right? Do it for yourself first, then whoever else feels it That is a hardcore bonus. Never quit creating, never stop, because your next Pokemon creation could be right around the corner from hitting the world. And you could be the next Satoshi Tajiri. So let's pass the test, my friends. Show we are worthy. It may take years, but what are we if not artists, right? We would do it for free anyways. Suck it, Mewtwo.